You're listening to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by Referral Mortgages and Blue Panda Realty, with your hosts, Paul Stevenson, David Warren, and Greg Campbell. Let's see what's going on in the world of real estate in our nation's capital.
Good morning. Awesome. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It's going to be a great show. The Ottawa Real Estate Podcast. My name is Paul Stevenson. I'm here with Greg Campbell and David Warren.
Hi.
I am one of the owners over at Referral Mortgages here in Ottawa. I'm also a mortgage agent. So if you have any questions about mortgages, financing, numbers, anything, letters even, I'll talk to you. David Warren is my business partner over at Referral Mortgages, and he's also a mortgage agent. And Greg Campbell is a partner at Blue Panda Realty. He's an expert realtor, lots of experts here. And he helps people buy homes, sell homes, and talks to them all the time about how great their options are. A wonderful week this has been. What a tremendous week. Greg, how was your week?
I don't know. It's got to be good because I'm laughing my face off right now. Yeah, the week was good, man. I got that deal done that we were talking about last week where we did with the reverse offer. That one's all done. Just did a couple off-market rental deals, which was interesting. I just love doing rentals off-market. You know, it's like you get one and you just send it out to your people and you go, look, I got this. You got somebody for this? Seems to be easier to get rentals done than like exclusively than listing sometimes, but. Yeah, and then of course I was with you gentlemen on Wednesday night. My wife was singing at the fireworks event down at Tavern on the Hill, which was fantastic.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of fun.
We had some beverages. Probably had a couple too many beverages, but you know what? What a great night! My kids were there; they were dancing. We had some friends who had never seen them before visiting. I made some great contacts, met some new people. That today I'm sending the link to this.
Greg was working the crowd.
It was all about the girls. The kids were just making friends, and then they're like, "Oh, everyone's like, oh my god, your girls are amazing," and I'm like, "I know they're amazing. I love them."
They were pretty great. They were dancing up a storm, and I mean, it's hard not to be honest. When the Hornets are jamming, it's hard not to move.
Yeah,
they make you move. You know.
They make you move. That soul.
It is nice though to get out and actually interact with human beings. It was, I don't know how many people were down there. It's probably 100 and something. It was a firework viewing party. So anyone who is in Ottawa, the Museum of Civilization, I believe, right? In Quebec is kind of hosting the Sound and Light show this year. So fireworks, music. Obviously, if you're on the Ontario side, you get the live band. And there's kind of a viewing party at Tavern on the Hill. So still tickets available, I think, for all of next week as well. So if that's something that is of interest, live music, a couple bevies, fireworks, looking over Parliament. It's pretty magical scene. And
it was.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty sweet. And if Greg's there, you'll get the dancers too. The full crew. They basically started the dance floor, his daughters, and then everyone joined in. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. We had a fun weekend last week. Actually, we David and I in our office, we actually went into the OSSC is kind of a local Ottawa sport and social club here. We put in a softball team, joined a softball tournament. That was pretty exhilarating. We had a good time with that. It was good, kind of nice to get out, especially when you have a larger office. It's nice to actually get out and humanize people. You see their name and emails and you're on Zoom calls and everything, but when you can actually sit down with people and chat and do something fun, it definitely changes the dynamic a bit, which is quite nice.
Yeah, spending the day outdoors, getting to know some of our agents better was it was a great time. Only some minor injuries, only one broken foot.
Yeah.
How many agents do you guys have now?
Like 28
agents.
Nice.
And then we have some amazing staff as well in the office. One broken foot, almost a broken face. We had someone take a ball in the face twice. And
the same person?
The same person. twice. One time from the outfield,
Nightmare.
missed the glove right in the chomps, and then the second time I fired it. Probably the hardest throw I could throw. Trying to throw someone out at home, completely missed the glove right off the face. It was it was quite the scene. Wow. But other than that,
needless to say, next time we'll be having some heavy liability waivers being signed
and larger baseball gloves, apparently.
You guys need to use like those Nerf softballs for the next one, like a wicker ball or something,
or those like Velcro pads. Maybe you should have a Velcro pad and the ball will just stick to it and rip it off, throw it. How was the week in real estate? I mean, it was a fun week in general as far as getting out and doing things. But how was the week in real estate, Greg? What are you seeing as far as
I mean, like I said, for me, it was, I got that one deal done. I got a couple exclusive rental deals done. It's still moving, but like we said, the last few weeks, things are still, they're sitting on the market a little bit longer. A lot of new listings came out the last little bit. I'm convinced that they're probably going to sit as well. I've seen some properties that are taking 3 to 4 weeks to sell that, would have sold in a couple of days previously. And also that has to do with expectations of the sellers, pushing the price to the limit. And then there's some that are just astronomically overpriced right now that are probably going to sit for another 30 days. Like just out to lunch. We're seeing like some row homes in Riverside South, over 800, 3-bedroom row home, over 800,000. Detached home, 800,000. You can still find those. If you look, it doesn't matter how glamorous your row home is. 800 is like really pushing it, even in Riverside South. I think there was a nice 4-bed that sold down there for 788 a few months ago, but that was exceptional. Anyways, I do have some stats based on one of the comments we got on the show a few weeks ago about rentals. What was the comment? They were asking about the rental market hotspots and what's kind of happening with rentals. So.
Yeah, I think that was on YouTube. I don't remember verbatim what the question was, but it was something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, so I didn't get into too much details. Like I didn't try to figure out exactly what the hottest markets are for rentals, but as we know, the suburbs have been kicking ass. So I just used Orleans, Barrhaven, Riverside South combined, and then Stittsville, Canada combined. And this is pretty interesting. So we've got in Orleans 48 rentals. And this is overall. So this could be stacked towns, rows, detached homes. The average in Orleans is 2,350. And now for all of these, you're going to be looking at like minimum 18, top could be like 5 Gs, depending on what the product is. So Orleans, 2,350, days on market, 17. Barrhaven, Riverside South, 70 active rentals, 2,500 average price point. Average price, days on market 16. Stittsville, Canada, 52 active rentals. Again, 2,500 is the average price, days on market 21. So overall, it's pretty similar. Orleans has $150 less per month average in rental price, and has less rental listings available. But Barrhaven, Riverside South, 70 listings. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
2,500 is pretty high. It seems
it's high, man.
What are they? What's the like? Is that detached? Is it towns? Does it?
Well, this is the thing. This is the average for everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if we're looking at the top average, like detached, some of them are hitting 5,000, but those, I guarantee you, those are not on market for 16 days. Those are on the market those have probably been on the market for 60 days. Like I looked at some of them, I just kind of scanned it, but I wanted to give everybody an average. I could get, if it's interesting, if anyone's really interested in seeing a more detailed breakdown of detached versus condos and row homes, I'm happy to do that. And I could publish that on the page as well, because I find that price is high overall. And I think with all these rentals on the market, that the prices are going to have to come down a bit. The 2 that I just did, we came down from what it was before. And the main reason was my guys didn't want to wait. And we had comments saying that it was just too much. So
I can't imagine being, whatever age you are, early 20s, looking to rent your first place and seeing a $2,500 price tag on your unit, you know?
But I think for the most part though, people getting a rental for the first time is, you know, probably going to be an apartment or something of that nature, more central. Yes. Like, you know, those houses, I would imagine, Barhaven, Canada, Stittsville, Riverside, they're single family.
Still,
you know,
you're right. But most of them are row homes. Like the general, the most popular rental, I should say, is a row. So you're looking at $2,000 at least for that, depending on what it was. Like I saw some, you know, they're $2,300 for those, depending on how new it is, right?
So I had a townhome in Barhaven that I had as a rental. I sold it beginning of 2018, I think it was. And I had that rented for either 1,500 or 1,550. And it was a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, or 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, finished basement. So in the 3 years, it's effectively come up almost $150 a year.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And like that price, you know, to find a nice row home right now for $1,800 is a dream.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and you know, to go into rentals a bit, you know, before we got on, what I was saying earlier, like, you know, everybody's got to be prepared. Like I have a family right now looking for something, and they're not in the greatest situation. I won't get into it too much, but there's a lot of factors involved, and they can't find what they need. They have first and last month's rent. They have a full year's rental payment as well once they sell their home. But they can't get anything because of the way that their life has taken a turn, and he's on leave, but he will have employment as soon as he's back, and they're taking care of family. That's the basic scenario. And so they don't have any income per se right now on paper, although they do have support, and they'll pay a year up front, but they can't even, no one's going to take them, even if they'll pay a year up front, just because they don't have that committed income statement for the last couple months. I get it, but I found that a little, I don't know. Anyway,
I wonder also, now those listings, the rental listings that you gave us the numbers on, those are ones that are being listed with realtors as well, right? Like those are actually publicly listed as opposed to, you know, marketplace.
Yeah, that's right.
Et cetera.
Correct.
Because I mean, I know back in the day when I was looking at rentals, like, you know, late teens, early 20s, I was definitely not going through a real estate agent either, right? You're kind of going directly to the people. So I think those sorts of things where people are not accepting those contracts or they're doing more due diligence on income and things like that, it's probably because of the fact that they're getting screened more thoroughly, right? Going through that channel. Whereas if you're going through a Kijiji or somewhere like that, people are probably going to be, you would assume, maybe a little more lenient on those sorts. Like if you went on, some people, if they offer 12 months in advance, they don't care about your income at all. Just, well, I'll worry about it in 12 months from now if you leave, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. So I don't know, but these guys, you know, and there's still a lot on Kijiji that are run by realtors. So you don't always find the best spots that way.
No, I'm not suggesting that's the best route either.
Well, maybe for any listeners, if you have a place and you're that's for rent, reach out to Greg.
I'm telling you,
he'll get you your 12 months up front. And
I have a great family, and they will take care, and they're most likely going to stay for 2 or 3 years. They're just in this weird scenario right now where they can't get anything to stick. And you know, I look at these rental properties at where they are, and you know, I think back to about a year ago. I mean, even before that, when the market started changing for rentals as well, there wasn't as many rentals, you know, and your multiple offer on rentals, and you have to send in the application, and along with like an ID, and then people won't even consider you half the time, even if you have an income over 120,000 in income in the house. Like I was seeing people just turning them down because they were looking at, I'm like, well, what do you want? They make 120,000. They have a great credit score, and you're turning them down because what, you want someone that makes 200,000 to rent your home? You think that's going to be a better tenant for some reason? Yeah. Crazy. So, I mean, you know, now I know it's not as extreme right now, but still, like, there's all these landlords are just making people jump through hoops. And these are good people that need somewhere to live, and they, the scenarios are all different, obviously, and everybody has their own bottom lines. But I mean, with the way that the rentals seeing this many numbers on the market now, these prices, I think they have to come down, even if it's $100,
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. A lot of people just can't do it.
Well, if nothing's moving, like if we're seeing listings stay on longer at those prices, rentals are staying on longer. I mean, that's going to force a downward shift. There's no really way around it, unless there's a huge uptick in, people migrating and needing a rental. But it seems like that's across the board, right? If it's on rentals and on purchases, if everything's stagnant, then I think that goes back to what we were saying about the time of year as well. We're August 20th today. This will be released, I think, on the 23rd is Tuesday, 24th, 23rd. And, I just got a notification right before we came on from my son's school saying they're back September 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2 weeks notice, we're back. And I think Dave, you mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but I think that'll definitely get people back into gear if they're, once they're settled in, kids are in school. Okay, let's get this ironed out before Christmas. Let's get moving on the home purchase, right? These are the last 2 weeks of summer, so I have a feeling it'll stay pretty stagnant for the next week or two.
For sure, man. And with that election, I mean, I'm honestly not expecting anyone that I'm working with to buy until after the election. Mm-hmm. I think they should be buying now because I think there's deals out there, but I don't think anyone's going to do it. I think they're all just waiting. So I'm honestly expecting none of my buyers that I'm working with to buy anything for the next 4 weeks. And in my business, that's, I don't want that, but I'm just looking at it as that's a big possibility. And I think, it's not something to be afraid of. Is, even if you're new in the business, this can happen. You got to be prepared for moments like this. I mean, if anything breaks, great. But even my listings that are coming up, I said, forget it. I said, if you need to list now, let's do it, but be prepared to be waiting.
The one good thing,
if you want to do it now. Yeah.
The one good thing that has come from this pandemic is that people certainly give a shit now who their mayor is, who the premier is, who the prime minister is. People are very cognizant of, the powers that be and who's making the decisions that affect us all. I actually heard yesterday an interesting conversation between two intelligent humans, not myself, and they were talking about how in the U.S. basically, they have a constitution, or they have their rights and freedoms. And the government's basically in place to make sure that they maintain those rights and freedoms. Whereas in Europe and Canada and most other places, we basically look to the government to tell us what our rights and freedoms are, as opposed to knowing what they are and making sure that they uphold them. So I think people are, there's going to be a lot of votes this year. I think a lot more votes than in the past.
I agree.
And
I agree.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. But Dave, I know we were talking about this before we came on air, that some of the parties have started to release what their plans are with regards to the housing market, and how they might affect that, positively or negatively. And maybe you want to touch on that quickly, just for anyone who hasn't heard.
It's always interesting, whenever there's elections coming up, whether that's local or federal. But obviously, housing is front and center. The one party released their at least preliminary housing platform yesterday. The Conservatives were the first ones out of the gate, and it looks like. A couple interesting things that I kind of picked out was, they're looking at a full ban on foreign buyers buying any property in Canada that's not going to be a property they live in themselves. So no foreign rental purchases, which I think in markets, we've been seeing it in Ottawa some, and certainly over the last couple of years has been an uptick. But I know that's a huge problem in Toronto and Vancouver of driving up those
Vancouver
prices.
For
so,
sure, yeah.
that I think that's an interesting move. And there was, they kind of brought it up of, selling, the government being the largest real estate property owner in Canada, and a lot of property gets underutilized. And so their platform is to convert 15% of the government buildings into residential real estate. And to fulfill a need of adding a million properties or a million units back to the market over 3 years. I think that's a really aggressive timeline of 3 years, but
huge.
That's a lot. That's a lot of properties. That would make a huge difference to the housing inventory, to, balancing out markets. And a lot of that being, obviously for affordable housing and kind of eliminating some of the red tape. But I thought those were kind of some interesting ideas.
Yeah. And I think we suggested that on Tour Rep last summer. May of 2020, we were suggesting they convert the unused commercial buildings to residential. So that's it's great that clearly the Conservatives are listening to the show, and Aaron O'Toole is implementing our ideas.
Number one fan.
Yeah. But it'll be that's thanks for that, Dave. I think as the coming weeks, as everyone starts rolling out their plans, yeah, they may be listening. As they roll out their plans, it'll be interesting to see what everyone's focusing on, right? As far as topics of discussion and what their points of contention and interest are over the coming weeks, and how they're going to portray that to
the Canadians.
Yeah. Population to the, what word should I use here? Canadians.
Canadians.
Yeah. I mean, because it is such a hot topic across the country. It's not just, housing issues can continue to be a bigger and broader issue, and not just in, Toronto and Vancouver, the two largest markets, but also rolling into even the East Coast. There's a lot of markets that are, at a housing shortage, and, little places like, even Kingston, like their prices are skyrocketing or things like that. And so I think it certainly is there's a housing crisis of affordable housing. Like we talked about the rental rates, $2,500, like that's not affordable for a lot of families. And so, yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see what the other two main parties come out with for their platforms, and how it addresses affordability, qualifying for first-time home buyers, what programs maybe that they kind of are rolling, think of rolling out to assist with those down payments for first-time home buyers, or additional credits or what have you. But I think it is, there's been so many changes over the years, and like it's, dozens of changes. I think something like 50 or 56 since 2018 to mortgage qualifying and the mortgage industry since 2018. So I think it will be interesting to see how these platforms roll out, and whether those are actually implemented, or to what capacity, or whether it's all just lip service.
This is soon. This is in like 4 weeks, right? The election.
Correct.
Crazy.
Yeah, a month from today.
The shortest. It's the shortest election. I think it's 36 days is the shortest period for campaigning, and that's what they chose to call the election for, was the shortest amount of campaigning.
He's got balls in this, but I'm very interested in seeing where this goes.
We should host a real estate debate with all the party leaders.
Imagine we would definitely be the ones to do it. Yeah.
Stena said, Stena, top fan. It says even top fan. She's got she's bedazzled. She's got a jewel beside her name. I read an article about multi-generational households being on the rise in Canada. So families combining income to buy larger homes. Are we seeing this in the Ottawa region? I can say personally that I've certainly seen that more this year. A lot of people, whether it be, we've talked about it before, but the old bank of mom and dad, helping out, or on top of that, which is not the same as what you're saying, but a lot of families getting involved in purchases. We're seeing more three applicants on a file, things like that. People sometimes needing that additional income, but to Stena's point, people are actually saying, well, why don't we, sell our house, buy this house together, a larger home, and kind of all live in it together. Granny suites, things like that. Have you guys seen that? Dave and Greg, have you guys seen that?
Yeah, I had sibling. I mean, it's not multi-generational, but I had siblings that, both siblings married, two families, and they said, we're going to sell our house. And they went and they're buying, a much larger home. They're combining all their income together. And, it's I don't know how long that's going to last. But I mean, it certainly have been seeing it, and it's something, it's been going on in the larger and more expensive markets, but yeah, we have been seeing it, and at least I have as well in Ottawa. It's not truly as common of everyone in the same household. A lot of them are, granny suites or secondary suites, and maybe mom and dad are moving into, or something like that, or grandparents living in. I don't know. Have you dealt with anyone, Greg?
I haven't personally. I know there's a lot of it going on, but I haven't personally. It's not my, just hasn't come my way. I mean, I've spoken with people about it, but it was kind of like later, not yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely not the top choice by a lot of families to live to live multi-generational through in the house, but yeah, out of necessity for some and some out of preference. But
I will say there's some neighborhoods that I know where there's there's immigrants moving in and they are with large families, where they're moving in with their parents and their kids and the grandkids. I've seen it a couple of times. And that's, I mean, I think that stems from the culture too, and where they're from and how they've been raised, and how they would live elsewhere. So they just bring it here and they live that way, which is, I mean, obviously that's fine.
And I find the great,
but
the great thing in those, I find, to your point, Greg, is those families, they will support one another. So all live together, save up a nest egg amongst the group. Yeah. Help one person buy. Everyone does the same thing, helps the next person buy, saves up. And it's very much a cultural thing that us from North America, we don't do that. we don't. And you got to give it to them. Like they're doing it Absolutely. At the right time, especially in North America, whereas we're like, yeah, 18, get out there and make your way in the world, boy. Get out of here. We don't want you anymore. Kind of, you know what I mean?
Oh, we say that, but also, I mean, as I alluded to when we first answered the question, I mean, there's many times first-time homebuyers we're seeing parents, pass along generational wealth, things like that, and giving down payment to help with the equity and things like that. So, I mean, it certainly does happen, just maybe not as.
I think it's more with us. Elaborate. It's more of the. I mean, with our culture here, I would say, it's more of the help as opposed to the living with.
Yes,
and all that. But I think, but I do believe that's changing, especially with our elderly. And some people aren't comfortable with sending them to, moving them into a home, a retirement home, and now kind of like if your mom or dad are alone, it's a little bit easier to move them in with you. So I know that there's more of that happening. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I think kids are staying at home longer. Like, I'd say the average kid is probably not moving out till, mid to late 20s now. Whereas I know when we were younger, I mean, I was on my own at 17. I think Dave, you were, after moving out east for university, you were out on your own after that. So, I mean, it's definitely changed a lot. I mean, I know kids are obviously still going away for school and so on, but I think generally speaking, most people are leaving home a little later, which then, if you're 30, your parents are 70, and then, 5-6 years, they're getting older, you buy a new home, maybe they're moving in with you. Like it could definitely happen more often. We just had a question from Brian. He says, parents passing mortgages down to their children. Is that coming in Ottawa? So kind of, I guess, having the children assume the mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, like an assumption of the mortgage from the parents. I haven't been seeing it. I have, there in some cases the parent might have a home that they gift the equity, like so that the kid buying the property from them, but they're kind of gifting them a little bit of the portion of the down payment in that from the equity in that property. But not so much. At least I haven't of assuming a parent's mortgage or anything like that.
If to that point, if a family member is assuming the parent's mortgage, they still have to qualify on their own though. Correct. Yeah.
But I think the benefit of that would obviously be keeping the equity, right? Like not having to sell or go into a home, basically just, have the kids take over the mortgage. Parents probably stay there, get do some renos, add a granny suite or a coach house or what have you. And just keep it so you don't have to, basically sell the home. You just keep especially with the way the homes are appreciating these days. I'm assuming that's why people would do that in other areas. I was just thinking, based on what we were talking about, that we should probably maybe for next week or the week after, whenever the parties have announced their kind of platforms, we should basically take all the highlights of each party and just go through them and, talk to the pros and cons of each one, just to, keep it relevant, keep it topical. We only got 36 days to discuss. So let people know.
Something I wanted to point out before we wrap this up today is that I will be participating, and I'm gonna mention it again. I'm gonna mention them again. I'll be participating in my first unreserved auction.
Oh,
because I have clients who are going to go in on it. So we went and saw the house. It's good, and they want a bid, so we're going to do a bid, and they're cooperating with realtors at 2%. So
I'm excited to hear how this transpires. The auction process, all of that.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll video it as we do it online, and then we can show it next week on the show.
Quick question here before we get into the mood boost. Naveen says, can parents, permanent residents, co-sign a mortgage if they don't have a source of income in Canada? They have pension and assets in the other country.
No.
Naveen, shut down.
I mean, they would be considered, if income is overseas, it'd be considered, foreign income, non-resident income that I think you'd be able to probably get it done with a major bank, maybe, but it wouldn't be anything better than 35% down, like 65% loan to value. You might be able to go with an alternative lender that might give you lesser down. But yeah, that's basically where you're definitely going to be stuck. You're not going to get anything with, at 20% or less, certainly.
Great question. I love it when I like when people ask questions. Keeps us. It's
a good interaction today. I mean, the show's always a little bit better when people are talking to us. Talk to me. Keep it coming.
Mood boost, gentlemen. Let's roll into it.
Boost my body.
I have. I'm not sure how many I have today. I'm just going to start reading them, and we'll see where we go. So number 1, I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. This is very topical for Toe Rep. On an antiquities tour, a traveler read a plaque on an ancient building that said, "This building stands exactly as it did when it was first built. Not a stone has been changed or replaced." Traveler shrugged and said to the person next to her, "Gee, we must have the same landlord."
All right.
I feel that.
Okay.
I feel that mood boost in my soul.
Number 3. Is this 3? Where did you go here? How are coffee beans like children? They're always getting grounded.
Oh my. Oh my.
I can do one more.
I'll do one more, please.
Yeah, it's not that great, but I'll say it anyways. Where do birds go for coffee? To the Nest Cafe. I'd say 1 for 4. 1 for 4 on that.
First one was killer. I can't even remember it. Yeah. What was the first one again? Say it again.
First one was good. The first one was, let me find them. The stairs.
The stairs. They're always up to something.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Those stairs.
Stairs. So, gentlemen, what do we got planned for the week? What's on the docket?
Well, I'm supposed to be DJing that festival on Sunday, but now it looks like rain. So that's not as exciting. Got some discount codes ready to send out, but for people to make the trip, they're not feeling it as much. So we'll see. I'll probably be there playing in the rain.
It's not so bad for the Gaia.
I mean, it's going to be fun regardless. And with the weather this summer, who knows? And it could be clear and hot and sunny, no clouds.
Without the rain, we wouldn't appreciate the sun, Greg.
It's very true. Washes away all our sins, right?
So deep here.
That's about it for the weekend, though. I'm doing that, and I think something else, but I can't remember. Family time.
Yeah,
David,
just cottage and work, fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing much the same. Some stuff for the kids tonight and tomorrow, and then Sunday we're celebrating my son's 15th birthday. 15.
Wow.
So family coming over for that. Probably some fun and games in the backyard.
There we go.
And a little bit of work, a little bit of reading.
A little bit of reading. Reading's really good. A couple of things I want to mention. We don't do this enough on the show, and I know we've talked about it. We'll start running those ads next week. I'll have listings to run. We're going to start running some ads for properties that we have. To everyone listening, and I'd also like to mention that I have 2 exclusive listings coming out. One is a condo. It's an apartment, 2-bedroom apartment condo in Canada. And then I have a row home coming up in Orleans exclusively. So if anyone listening would like more information about that, just reach out to me. We're trying to sell it off market. Later closing is fine. Like November, December, January. So yeah.
That's it. For anyone listening, we're always available too. The 3 of us. If you want to have a chat off air, if you have a question about, buying a house, or, your mortgage is coming up for renewal, thinking about selling your house, anything to do with real estate. I mean, don't wait for the show to come out. You can reach out to us anytime. We're more than happy to chat. As always, show will be released Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock. We were debating maybe changing that, but I think we're going to keep it status quo for now. Tuesday, 10 a.m. We'll have the show out on all the podcast. Oh my God, I always do that. Podcast. All the podcast platforms and on YouTube. And as always, shout out to Stephen Hopkins, the man behind the magic. There he is. He's our amazing producer. And also to North Brew Coffee. If you go to northbrew.ca and use the promo code podcast, you'll get 20% off all your coffee orders. That's it. That's all we got. That's all we got for this week, gentlemen. See you next week.
Love it.
Friday.
A great week.
Okay.
The Ottawa Real Estate Podcast is brought to you by Referral Mortgages, Blue Panda Realty, and Stephen Hopkins Video. Thanks for tuning in, and please remember to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you.